Hi everyone. In my today's video, I'm going to explain the significance of a tool called StyleCop. StyleCop is basically meant for styling needs of your code base. Okay, StyleCop basically eases the maintenance of your code. Also, StyleCop establishes a common practice of styling across the developers of your team. So without wasting much time, let's start with the StyleCop configuration in Visual Studio. Okay, so I go to my example project and I will click on Manage Nugget Packages, and over here I will search for StyleCop.analyzers. Remember, for the .NET Core projects, this is the recommended Nugget package to integrate into your source code, the StyleCop functionality. So I'm going to install this. This will be a very quick install. So it is done. Yes, it is installed. Now, if I go to my project file and check the project properties, yes, I can see that the StyleCop.analyzers with version 1.1.118 has been integrated or installed. So it includes all private assets. It includes runtime, build, native, content files analyzers, build transitive, all kind of assets. But it is up to us how we configure that as per our requirements. Now, after doing this, okay, the moment I see my source code file, can you see there are some light green warnings being highlighted in your source code editor or in your Visual Studio? So what we need to do, simply click on it. The bulb icon will appear with suggestions. So what it is saying, reorder using statements. Click on it. See, it will automatically does the reordering of the namespace using statements for you. Again, click on the suggestion provided by StyleCop. It is asking you to add a file header. Okay, if you hover over the suggestion, it will give you an preview also what kind of preview it is going to add. Now it is going to add a source code header which can put some copyright information and other details that we can capture. These are all good programming practices, team, that we need to follow in our day-to-day development practices. Okay, it makes your code very clean and very informative in terms of these comments, in terms of headers. Apart from this, we can check for other errors over here. So it is asking us to introduce a StyleCop settings file to the project. Even this is also one good practice where you can include what all rules of StyleCop you would like to follow in terms of a settings file. Okay, so I would click on this. So this should introduce a stylecop.json file over here. If I click on it, you can see that I have added a doc under documentation rules. Okay, I have added a rule called company name, basically placeholder company. So now onwards, whenever somebody introduce some new files, they must introduce this kind of header information or copyright information. So this is the advantage of stylecop.json. Okay, and once you are sure what all kinds of rules of StyleCop you would like to include, simply put into this JSON file and add it to your nugget. Sorry, add it to your source code and check in into your branch. Now, whoever checks out this branch or creates new branch from this particular code base, this stylecop.json is available, and whenever they commit any kind of mistakes which are basically violating these rules or these settings, then they need to correct it. Okay, So some more examples. It is giving something for main. So let's check what it says. Declare accessibility. Can you see that? Okay. So here we basically declare the accessibility. Okay. As this is a main method, I would like to keep it as it is, or I can go with private also. Okay. Let's go with other options which are there. Other suggestions. If I check, add a trailing comma. Okay. Can you see? After while initializing a object during its construction, it's a good practice that once we're done with all the property initialization, the last property should be ended with a trailing comma. That's what's suggested by the style code. Now, one more violation. Let's see what it says. Add trailing comma. Yeah. So same over here also. And over here we will check fix spacing. So StyleCop basically takes care of all kind of spacing issues, okay? The number of lines of code in your source code file. So there are plenty of rules which are being predefined by the StyleCop team itself. So adhering to the StyleCop is a good practice, and yes, it will definitely help in achieving a clean code base. I hope you people understood the significance of this tool. Okay. And one more thing I would like to explain here. Now here I have just added the Nugget package to this project, but I don't have an option to run this StyleCop on whatever source code file I want to check for StyleCop. In order to do that, I have to compile my code in order to check such errors. Okay. Now there is one more approach we can follow, using which you can basically run on each and every file the StyleCop settings or the StyleCop rules basically. So without wasting much time, let's quickly let me show that. So in Visual Studio, go to extensions, click on manage extensions basically. So here search for StyleCop. Now this is being installed as a StyleCop to your Visual Studio as an extension. So simply download. Okay. Now your changes will be scheduled. The modification will begin when all Microsoft Visual Studio windows are closed. Okay. Now once I close my Visual Studio, okay, see, the VSIX installer is trying to modify the Visual Studio Professional 2019. Now, let it integrate this extension StyleCop modified. Now, the modifications are complete to Visual Studio. Now, let me relaunch Visual Studio basically. So, now the StyleCop has been integrated into Visual Studio. Now, I will right click. Can you see? I will be getting an option in context menu, run style cop. So simply if I run the style cop, I should see the number of violations reported by the style cop. The class must have a documentation header. Okay. The method must have a documentation header, and the method must have an access modifier. So there are lot of such settings available with the style cop that we can make use of, guys. So I just wanted to demonstrate how we can make use of this. And even best practice being, we can integrate StyleCop into our CI/CD pipeline or build pipeline. So whenever new code is checked in, okay, this tool will run and it will check for the compliances. If there are any violations, fail the build, let the developers fix it. So once a final build takes place, when there are zero StyleCop finalization errors, then only make the build to succeed. This way, you are basically confirming to a cleaner development approach where your code is always confirmed, okay, with the proper styling, and it is properly formatted across your team. Thank you for listening. We'll meet again.